Welcome back to Fantasy Football RPG, your go-to source for all things fantasy football. Join us for expert analysis, top strategies, and the latest insights to help you dominate your league. Let's level up your game and dive into the nitty-gritty. Without further ado, let's get the action.
Ladies and gentlefolk, welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football RPG. I am your host, Mike Kashuba. You can find me on Twitter at FFMikeCash. That's with a K. Little last name, play on words. Evan is running the Fantasy Football RPG pod account. It's at FFRPG pod. Evan, you have a beautiful soul. It's an inside joke just between you and me. But Carly, how are you? Welcome back to the show. Tell people one more time where to find you.
Hey, Mike, I'm great. Everyone can find me at Twitter at Cinco de Manger or on Blue Sky. If you need to find me, just think about my nickname, Cinco de Manger.
There you go. I zoomed out for the people on YouTube, which PS, if you guys are listening audio only on Spotify or Apple, hop on over to YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 by Christmas. We'll see how it goes. But today we were talking about fantasy football playoff matchups for our running backs. There's not a position that you're really that worried about matchups more than the running back position because some of those rush defenses are tough. They're gross. And you don't really want to start Derrick Henry when he's going to get 8 rushing yards. Before we get into the analytics, we're going to talk about, I know Derrick Henry always gets 1,000 because he's unstoppable, but got to pay the bills. So guys, head on over to Bet365, use bonus code ND365bonus. You can get either $1,000 first bet safety net, or you can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets. Either of those work. Please, ND365bonus. Please gamble responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Yada, yada, yada. Things. You guys get it. Just don't be stupid. So, running back matchups. Some of the best ones for running backs. Probably could have told you this in the preseason. Carolina Panthers, not good at stopping the rush. Jacksonville Jaguars. I didn't expect to see this one on there. Evan, Buffalo Bills. Where did that come from?
It's an undersized defensive line. I've been watching a decent amount because Josh Allen's my heartthrob. Eric will tell you I was watching him in college. I was that guy just sitting here watching no-name football just because I wanted to watch this behemoth of a man try and play against just little people. So A lot of fun. And because of that, you start seeing some trends. You see the defensive linemen just look smaller on the field, first thing. Then you start looking at their weights, and you start looking at that compared to typical offensive linemen. They're seating 30, 40 pounds in some places. That's kind of an issue when you try and stop the run, and you're typically not devoting multiple linebackers to stopping the run.
Yeah. Makes a ton of sense. Number 4 best running back matchup is the Indianapolis Colts. Leatu Latu did not do anything to help them. And the San Francisco 49ers, they're just the most injured team running across the league. Let's talk about some of the options that are floating around for our Week 15 matchups. We got Rico Dowdle on the Cowboys. You have Braylon Allen / Isaiah Davis / Breece Hall / whoever else they can roll out there. The Detroit Lions and Sonic and Knuckles, you're starting both of them. The Broncos, we could talk about that a little bit. And then the Rams, you're starting Kyron Williams, the famous punt returner. How confident are either of you in starting Rico Dowdle against the Panthers this week?
I am 100% confident. He has been on a heater. I was a Rico Dowdle truther heading into draft season, and that didn't work out super well to begin with because Mike McCarthy's an idiot. But he's finally come to his senses and realized that he's the best running back they have. He gave up on the 2 old men of Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. And when they've been giving Rico the ball, he looks fantastic.
I am going to fight you because I think Rico Dowdle is a Jag, but that's okay because he's a Jag behind an offensive line that wants to run the ball with a team that is on their backup quarterback. He's going to get the volume. It's a great matchup. I think he's a plug-and-play RB2. Evan, help me with the Jets backfield. Who are we playing in Week 15 against the Jags?
Are you going to tell me Breece Hall is a game-time decision?
Yeah, I need you to tell me whether or not Breece Hall is going to play. We're recording this Tuesday night, and we have no news. So tell me, is Breece Hall going to play?
Yeah, love the injury reports not being out there yet. But Brees has previously said it in college, which we're going to have to dive this far back because I can't remember a time where he's actually said in a press conference, even if I'm hurt, put me out there. I'm better than your next option.
Which was true in college.
It was true in college.
Is it true now?
Does it hold true? I mean, your heartthrob over here, the behemoth of a man, Braylon Allen, who can't even legally drink.
He is my heartthrob. I went to Wisconsin, so I have been following him from the beginning, and I was pissed when the Jets drafted him because I wouldn't get to see all of his glory.
The Jets love to draft my favorite running back, but on day 3 and then not use him. So it's nice to see Braylon Allen get used a little bit. But Izzy Abanikanda might be good for the 49ers. Bottom line, it's a good matchup. If Brees is out, you can probably start both Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis if you're in a pinch. Bills, you're starting both of them. The Colts going against Denver. Can somebody help me with the Colts?
I mean, Jaleel McLaughlin might be the hot hand at the moment. Javante's had his chances. Audric Estime fumbles a lot, so he keeps getting benched. But your guess is as good as mine. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Jaleel.
So bottom line, the Colts are playing the Broncos this week. We're not feeling great about any of those options. Then they play the Tennessee Titans, the New York Giants. Both of those guys have a player that you feel pretty good starting them. So looking ahead to week 16 and 17, you have options. The 49ers starting the Rams. I mean, it's Kyron Williams. And the punt return things were overblown. Worst matchups for running backs. Let's get into some gross things. The Chiefs, it's not the Patrick Mahomes show anymore. Now they have a good defense, which is very fun, which is tough because they play Cleveland, Houston, and Pittsburgh. So a lot of teams that love to just hand the ball off 100 times other than Houston. The Lions, another solid defense. The Vikings, crushing it. The Eagles, I'm shocked. Jalen Carter helped stop the run. Who could have known that would happen? And the Houston Texans. Let's walk through some of these Week 15 matchups. You just tell me whether or not we should be extremely worried about this and maybe move expectations down, or we're going to start these players with confidence. So Chiefs against Nick Chubb.
No.
Not starting Nick Chubb?
Don't do it.
He hasn't looked the same this year, and Jerome Ford has looked better, honestly, in a lot of his opportunities. But if you have another option, start them.
Okay. Lions against either James Cook or Ray Davis if you're a lunatic.
Oh man, James Cook, like what a up and down season. What a interesting one. But this Lions defensive line has been absolutely lights out. They're biting kneecaps. They're taking people out. They're going for the haymaker down there. Yeah.
And that's even without Hutch anchoring the defense. So maybe just move expectations down for Cook.
It could be another week like week 14 where Josh Allen, the behemoth of a man, is the number one rusher for the team. So I would definitely lower expectations for James Cook.
Very fair. Vikings against Chicago. Would anybody like to start DeAndre Swift in the first round of the fantasy playoffs with confidence?
No.
Oh man, how many points are the Bears going to score this week?
Oh man, let me look up Vikings versus Bears odds.
What's the over under?
So as it stands now, it looks like the Bears are +7 in a total with 43.5 points. So that is an implied point total. Quick math in my head of somewhere around 15.
That sounds about right.
So do you want DeAndre Swift to maybe score one of the 2 touchdowns the Bears should score?
I like their defense to score one of them.
Yeah. It's tough in the streets for DeAndre Swift truthers. Then the Philadelphia Eagles against Pittsburgh. You're starting – well, actually, are you starting Najee Harris? The volume king?
If I have another option, no. Because this defensive line is filled with a bunch of Georgia players. And what does Georgia love to do? Just
drive stupid.
Harass. Well, okay. We're not talking about cars here or, IQ. But we're talking about defensive lines and we're talking about linebackers that just fly to the football whenever the running back gets outside the tackles. And that's exactly what this defense does. They're going to plug the middle. get the big old man Davis in there with Jordan Davis in there.
Little Jordan Davis, little Jalen Carter.
Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, just side by side, college teammates. They know how to play with each other. And we're just going to leave that there.
I hate the Eagles so much. We're going to 2 likes on this video, and I'll release the text between me and Evan this weekend. And last but not least, Carly, I mean, you're starting Achane against the Texans, right?
Yeah, for sure. And especially because he's not a classic running back. He mostly a pass catcher. He's one of the top receiving targets on the team. And so I think that he kind of is the exception to the rule.
Yep. So
I will say just real quick though, let's temper a little expectations, because when you go to the Texans defense and you look at receiving yards that they've given up to running backs this year, 5th least. When you look at receptions they've given up to the running back, 5th least as well. So,
do you think that has anything to do with the teams that they have played?
I don't know. Mike, you're about
Usually
to tell me.
The answer is yes.
I'm looking it up. So they played against the Colts, so not a lot of checkdowns there. The Bears, when Caleb Williams didn't know which way up was. The Vikings, Aaron Jones should have gotten, a little bit of love. The Jags should have gotten a little love. Bottom line, they've played a lot of teams that don't check the ball down, so maybe it's correlation, maybe it's causation, maybe we should just figure out which matchups to chase, which it sounds like we're starting Miami running backs regardless, and then the Texans play Kansas City. I don't feel great starting any running backs there in a must-win matchup. And then Baltimore, you're starting King Henry, regardless of what's going on.
Talk about a behemoth of a man.
Imagine if you could throw the ball, then you'd have Josh Allen. But
I think you mean you'd have Tyler Warren.
Oh, God. All right. We'll get into that in scouting season. Tight end 1, Tyler Warren. Dynasty tight end 1 already. But best matchups for running backs, you got the Panthers, the Jags, the Bills, the Colts, the 49ers. Worst, you have the Chiefs, the Lions, the Vikings, the Eagles, and the Texans. There's a couple of matchups you can chase, a couple you should avoid. Thanks for coming. Carly, tell people where to find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Blue Sky at Cinco de Manger. And thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Football RPG Podcast. If you made it this far, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to check out written content, head over to lastwordonsports.com.
Don't let the Goblins get you.